I was 13 years old. It was in the middle of an argument with my parents. They insisted me to play the piano, but I wanted to play basketball. It was a discussion about which activity is better for you, Siduri, but I stood strong. I really wanted to play basketball. And there and then, he said it, my dad. The same thing he's been telling me my whole life. But it was like I really understood what it meant the first time now. Siduri, don't let anyone stand in your way, not even me. And for the rest of my life, those words has followed me. And trust me, they were needed. Because I've had a lot of roadblockers on my way. And every time someone stands there on my path, I think, if my own dad is not reason enough for me to switch path, then who the heck are you? It turned out I sucked at playing basketball. But that argument with my parents gave me a life lesson to completely own my journey. And maybe it's that lesson that made me break free from the limitations of what society thought I was capable of doing. Let's just say I wouldn't be standing on this stage if I didn't. Because the picture of what a woman with Assyrian parents born in the suburbs of Stockholm is capable of doing is, let me put it like my old teacher put it, when she told me and my classmates. She told us, as long as you don't become criminals or addicted to drugs, consider yourself as successful. While children from nice schools, just some subway stations away, were told, you can be anything and everything in this world. You can only see yourself as successful if you become a CEO or prime minister of this country. Apparently, me and my classmates were born in the wrong area, because we too could have been CEOs or politicians. And the least thing we needed was just another roadblocker not believing in us. So I told that teacher, who the heck are you? And started my own path towards my type of success. And this time, I was not only going to own my journey, I was going to own my business. It's 2009. I'm now 21 years old. It's going pretty good. I'm on my path towards a really good future. A future more comparable from, the children from the other good school. And then it happened. My life got hit by a reality check. My dad got a heart attack. And let me tell you, sitting in that waiting hall at the hospital and waiting for the doctor to come out to let me know if I still have a dad or not. Waiting, shaking and biting my nails, not crying because I'm a grown, strong woman who needs to stay strong for the family. But my heart was about to be ripped apart. For every breath I took, I thought about my dad. Is he breathing too? For every heartbeat, is my dad's heart beating too? Thankfully, my dad survived. The whole family ran into him, kissing and hugging him, and letting him know how much we loved him and asking him how he felt and how we were. But he didn't even answer the questions. My dad just started telling stories. He started to tell stories from his childhood about growing up in the Middle East as a minority, coming to Sweden and still a minority, and just childhood stories and deep reflections and thoughts. It was like if he wanted to tell those stories as fast as possible so that they wouldn't die with him. The heart attack incident made me change path. Isn't that ironic? This time, the change of path was not despite my dad. It was thanks to him. I started to think about my own legacy. And I started to think about what stories I will be telling. Not only for my family, because that's just a few individuals, but for humanity. And I thought, today and the days we have ahead of us are the only days we actually can change. And what stories we will be telling at the end of our lives are the ones we're creating today. And at this time, I was tired. I was tired of being the only Siduri in every room I went to. The higher I got in my career, the more boardrooms I got elected to, the fewer of Siduris there were. The fewer women, the fewer non-white, the fewer friends from my old school. Where is everybody? Some people's paths towards success are much longer than others. For every subway station, that path got longer and longer and longer. Because we had to deal with roadblockers not everybody has to deal with. There was sexism on my path, racism on my path, teachers with limited dreams on my path. And I learned that fighting those roadblockers on the paths would be much easier if we were more people walking on it. 2.5 years ago, me and 3 other entrepreneurs from my neighborhood had a talk about this. Isn't it weird that the more power we get, the less of us we see? We wanted to democratize success and coach young people within leadership, business, entrepreneurship. Take their idea from thought to realization, but most of all, encourage them, inspire them, and let them know that they too can be anything and everything in this world. If they wanted to become a CEO or prime minister of this country, they had to own that dream. And it would be our duty to clear that path with them. Our home municipality of Botkyrka agreed to give us this room, a small little room, to coach young Siduri, young Fares, young Victoria, young Amanias, coach them with their ideas. They had given us a goal to coach 10 young people within 3 months. At first, nobody came. It was only me and Victoria sitting in this room and waiting for youngsters. But then, one came, and another one, and another one, and another one. And after 3 months, we had 450 people waiting to be coached. Same young people who have heard, just like me some years ago, that dreaming big was not for people like us. So there we were, a room, but with a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of giving away my whole phone book, we showed that this group is not going to settle for less. Today, Changers Hub has over 1,000 young members from all suburbs of Stockholm. We moved from that room to a big innovation house, or we created a big innovation house, and we also opened in one more location. Apart from coaching, we have co-working space. we have courses, we have talk like this. Some of the ideas that started at Changers Hub 2.5 years ago are now successful companies who are employing from the community. It has created its own ecosystem. We are each other's teachers, role models, customers, investors. And the ideas that's coming to Changers Hub are just mind-blowing. This is Zakaria and Hundessa. They wanted to help young refugees who recently come to Sweden by creating social activities so they can get friends. And now they have a lot of activities in many suburbs of Stockholm. This is Andra. Her idea was to help people with their savings and help them get stable with their economy. She had her first course in that little room some years ago. And this past weekend, she rented one of the biggest venues in Sweden and had that exact same course in front of 7,000 people. This is Filippe. His idea was to match football teams so we can have more people or more children have healthier lifestyle and boosting inclusion. They haven't even had the big launch yet, but they already have 200 teams on their platform. These are ideas that got to be a reality. We empower young people to dream big, but we also empower Sweden with new ideas from new type of people. But our movement is not only about us or about Sweden. We have a lot of problems in this world, both local and global. I'm sure we have people who have solutions to these problems. It's just that the solutions are stuck in people's head because we don't always know how to make them a reality. But by giving fuel to whatever that idea needs, free of charge to everybody, maybe we'll stop seeing the icebergs melt or the plastics in the oceans. Maybe we'll find a cure for HIV and cancer. Maybe we'll reach an era of democracy and freedom for all. Mind you, Change Yourself was just one of those ideas stuck in someone's head not too long ago. And now we're creating change every day. Ideas are worth spreading, and at Changers Hub, we make them worthy of realizing. And you can't even imagine the dreams I have for this organization looking forward. And if you don't believe me, fine, you're not even my dad. But don't forget that, regardless of who the heck stands in your way, we all have a deadline. And at the end of the time, we all need to take responsibility of all of our actions, hopefully in front of our loved ones. Make sure you'll have a good story to tell them. Thank you.